News headlines on Gold FM.
In your news headlines, fuel stations to face inspections from today. Private bus owners reject SLTB fuel supply. President intervenes as conflict threatens energy networks. In news overseas, Trump issues warning to NATO, while Tehran denies shipping blockade and offers nuclear concessions. 98th Academy Awards underway in Los Angeles.
The top story on Gold FM.
The Ministry of Digital Economy announced that the National Fuel Pass QR code system is fully operational, following technical updates. The public can access the information centre via the 1919 hotline for any questions or additional details about the quota process. Motorists with existing QR codes and unchanged vehicle or phone registrations can continue using their original codes without re-registering. Those who lost their QR codes but kept the same phone number can retrieve them by logging into the system and using a one-time password. However, new vehicle owners or individuals who changed their registered mobile numbers must complete a fresh registration process. The ministry urged the public to identify their specific categories and utilize the digital system to obtain fuel efficiently. The QR system, first introduced in August 2022 during the economic crisis, returns after a suspension in September 2023. Long queues formed at filling stations across the island immediately following the announcement of the system's reinstatement. Police security is now deployed at fuel stations to manage traffic congestion. Ceylon Petroleum Corporation Chairman DJ Rajakarna warned that filling stations issuing fuel outside the QR system will face immediate license cancellation. Investigations begin today to monitor discrepancies between the bulk fuel stocks issued to stations and the volumes dispensed via QR codes. Authorities remain on high alert to ensure compliance and prevent unauthorized distributions as the quota system takes effect.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
President Anurag Kumar Dissanayake instructed ministry secretaries to prepare for any eventuality arising from the Middle East conflict. The President directed officials to investigate the feasibility of work-from-home arrangements to ensure essential services continue without interruption. Key sectors including health, education, industry, agriculture and fisheries remain under close observation, with a focus on maintaining regional fuel reserves to support vital services, including healthcare. President Dissanayake emphasized the need for a streamlined digital coding system to manage resources and ordered the immediate rectification of existing technical flaws. He urged officials to move away from isolated departmental decisions in favor of a unified national strategy to meet emerging challenges. He noted that while future developments remain unpredictable, proactive intervention and mutual understanding between sectors are critical for national stability. A separate discussion led by the President reviewed the impact of energy supply chain disruptions on coal, gas and oil. President Dissanayake highlighted that these disruptions affect the entire global economy and require Sri Lanka to implement robust fuel conservation measures. Unlike the strategies used during the pandemic, the current situation requires targeted approaches across the public and private sectors to sustain industrial productivity amid global volatility. Professional unions representing the private bus owners, three-wheelers and app-based taxi services called for a government review of the newly announced fuel quotas, claiming the allocations do not meet operational needs. Key industries including agriculture, fisheries and tourism report severe disruptions, with farmers currently harvesting Maha-season crops and warning that limited fuel will stall machinery. The Government Medical Officers Association and various transport heads emphasized that the current ration threatens to cripple public mobility and essential services. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that reinstating the QR fuel system would restrict consumption and create significant economic challenges. He made this statement at a public gathering in Kakal, arguing that these limitations hinder productivity and place additional burdens on a struggling populace. He emphasized that such measures could trigger a series of new financial crises across sectors. The Navy Long-Range Maritime Task Force intercepted a multi-day fishing trawler carrying approximately 200 kilograms of suspected narcotics in the deep seas south of Dondra. 5 suspects and the vessel remain in custody and were brought to the Dikkovita fishery harbour this morning for further investigations. While the specific type of narcotics awaits confirmation, the Navy reports seizing illegal substances worth over 80 billion rupees during operations so far this year.
Now for some news in brief.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thundershowers to occur at several places in central, Sabaragamuwa, southern, northwestern and Uva provinces after 2 p.m. today.
The business news on Gold FM.
Oil prices edged somewhat lower following a demand from US President Donald Trump for international assistance in securing the Strait of Hormuz. While Brent crude briefly crossed the $106 a barrel mark, it fell to around $102.90 a barrel later today, as Washington entered talks with several nations to police the vital energy gateway. In the meantime, a barrel of West Texas Intermediate is currently trading at around $98 a barrel. Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited now holds a 51% majority stake in Colombo Dockyard plc, following the expiration of its mandatory offer. The Indian firm received acceptances for over 36 million shares, adding approximately 9% to its existing holdings. The acquisition pushes the total ownership past the critical threshold required for control of the Sri Lankan shipbuilder. No further agreements were made during the offer period, which concluded on the 12th of March. Sri Lanka's tea market is showing signs of recovery as exporters adopt alternative routes to reach destinations including Iraq, Jordan and Turkey. Tea Board Chairman Rajpal Obesekara says unsold quantities at local auctions returned to normal levels of 10 to 12% last weekend. The Securities and Exchange Commission and the Bar Association of Sri Lanka are establishing a new regulatory framework to modernise the nation's capital markets. SEC Chairperson Senior Professor Harindra Disabandara announced the initiative under the 2021 SEC Act to ensure market integrity and investor protection. A master plan featuring 12 transformative projects aimed to attract foreign funds and digitise the Colombo Stock Exchange. Professor Disabandara stated that the Commission is now empowered to investigate violations and refer misconduct for criminal prosecution to align with global standards.
International news on Gold FM.
US President Donald Trump warns NATO allies that the alliance's future could be in jeopardy if member states fail to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In comments published on Sunday, the US leader suggests that a lack of support from Europe would be viewed unfavourably, noting that while Washington assisted Ukraine, it now expects reciprocity in the Middle East. Approximately 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas passes through the narrow waterway, which currently remains effectively closed following a series of military exchanges between US-Israeli forces and Tehran. Trump also indicated a potential delay to his planned summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, insisting that China must take a proactive role in securing the route, since it receives 90% of its oil from the Gulf. While US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent conducts trade talks in Paris to maintain a fragile economic truce, the White House maintains that beneficiaries of the shipping lane should share the burden of policing it. Trump has specifically called for international assets, including minesweepers, to counter Iranian naval mines and drone activity. In a 15-minute telephone conversation with British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, the US President reportedly criticised the British response to the crisis. Trump claims that the United Kingdom declined an initial request for military involvement, only offering to send vessels after Iranian capabilities were already reduced. Downing Street confirmed that the pair discussed the importance of ending the disruption to global shipping, but did not provide further details on potential British deployments. Tensions continue to escalate as the Israeli military reports it still possesses thousands of targets within Iran. The Dubai media office said today that authorities were dealing with a fire resulting from a drone attack in the vicinity of the Dubai International Airport, adding that no injuries were reported. Dubai authorities said that the drone attack hit a fuel tank and civil defense teams were working to bring the fire under control. As such, flight activities at the Dubai International Airport were suspended temporarily. Meanwhile, Israeli spokesperson Effie Defrin confirms that strikes are expanding into central and western regions to dismantle threats from Tehran and Hezbollah. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi told the press that his country never asked for a ceasefire and sees no reason to engage in dialogue with Washington following recent attacks on Iranian infrastructure. The Iranian Foreign Minister claims that the Strait of Hormuz remains open to neutral vessels, contradicting Washington's assertions of a total blockade. Speaking to foreign media, Araghchi insisted that the strategic waterway is only restricted to ships belonging to nations actively attacking Iran or their immediate allies. In a significant shift regarding Tehran's nuclear capabilities, the minister confirmed the country is prepared to relinquish its stockpile of highly enriched uranium to secure a diplomatic resolution.
The Strait of Hormuz is open. It is only closed to the tankers and ships belonging to our enemies, to those who are attacking us and their allies. Others are free to pass. Of course, many of them prefer not because of their security concerns. This has nothing to do with us. They want to justify an unjustifiable act of aggression. So they are trying to make some excuses for themselves. I never said that we are going to make bombs. I said that we have 440 kilos of 60% enriched material, and that was not a secret. That is what is mentioned in the reports of the IAEA. So I said that, look, this is mentioned in the report. This, if enriched more, can be good enough for 10 bombs, as your own experts claim. So we are ready to give them up, to give them away. We are ready to dilute them, to downblend them into lower degrees. And by saying that, I wanted to say that the concession that we are making is really big.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
The 98th Academy Awards witnessed a rare tie in the Best Live-Action Short Film category, as both the singers and two people exchanging saliva took home statuettes. This marks only the 7th tie in the history of the Oscars. An event host, Conan O'Brien, noted disrupted millions of betting pools worldwide. Sean Penn secured his 3rd Oscar and 1st for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Colonel Lockjaw in one battle after another. Despite his victory, the veteran actor remained absent from the ceremony, continuing a trend of keeping a low profile during awards season. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein dominated technical categories, collecting Best Awards for Best Costume Design and Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Cassandra Koulakundis made history by winning the first ever Oscar for Best Casting for her work on One Battle After Another. The new category represents the first edition of the Academy's roster in 24 years, specifically recognizing the impact of casting directors on a film's success. The ceremony continues as Warner Brothers' titles Sinner and One Battle After Another compete for overall supremacy, holding a combined 29 nominations. Other major contenders, including Hamnet, remain in the running for the night's top prizes.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Royal College Colombo and St Thomas's College Mount Lavinia secured victories in their respective inter-school knockout rugby tournament matches yesterday. St Thomas's College defeated Sri Sumangala College with a final score of 31-24 to progress in the competition. Meanwhile, Royal College dominated in their encounter against St Anthony's College Katogassota, winning 34-13 and going on to the quarter-finals. That's it for now. This is Tulia De Silva for Gold FM. Thank you and have a lovely day ahead.